Good afternoon, sports fans. This is George Steele, VP of Operations for Mark the Hurricane Hoffman, and we're here today with today's free play for you. If you haven't been to our website, it's markmoneyhoffman.com. That's MarkMoneyHoffman.com. And the Hurricane is as hot and as hurricane as possible right now. He's like Hurricane Lane that's heading for Hawaii right now, on fire. So go to our website, guys. There's lots of free information, previews for football, lots of baseball information. There's also a premium section. Go to the buy now part for those of you looking for the premium selections. Mark Hoffman has been an industry leader for 20 plus years, always at the very top of the game, and he will definitely get you paid. There's nobody hotter in the industry right now. Mark's running a ton of promotions, so go ahead, go to the website. Please go to our YouTube channel where these videos are. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. That way, whenever we do these videos, you're going to be notified right away. You'll also get the specials whenever Mark has one of his Blue Diamond plays, games of the week, games of the month, or anything big, plus any of his promotional prices, because Mark loves to give you some specials. The earlier you get in, the better the price. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Now, for those of you just tuning in for our free plays, we are 5-1 so far, and we rate our plays on a 1 to 5 scale. 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. So manage your bankroll accordingly. If it's a 1, you want to play a little bit less. If it's up to a 5, you want to play more. In the middle, go as in between. So here we go, guys. We are going to preview the Chicago Cubs at the Detroit Tigers. One of these teams is headed probably towards the playoffs. One of these teams is not. We'll go through everything. The game goes off at 7:10 Eastern, 4:10 Pacific, and the Chicago Cubs will throw John Lester on the mound versus Francisco Liriano for the Detroit Tigers. Let's start with the Cubs, guys. The Cubs are 71-53, a very credible 18 games, over 500 on the season. They are leading the NLC Central by 2.5 games over the red-hot St. Louis Cardinals, who got the job done over the LA Dodgers last night. Now, the Cubs did make a trade yesterday, acquiring All-Star Daniel Murphy. Second baseman Daniel Murphy went to the Cubs as the Cubs try and bolster that roster, making their playoff charge and trying to do some damage. As you know, the Cubbies were World Series winners 2 years ago, and they're trying to repeat that. In my opinion, they had the best baseball manager in baseball in Joel Madden, I'm sorry. The Cubs come into today's game, however, of losing 3 straight games. So this is not a team who's playing great baseball right now. They are playing the lowly Detroit Tigers, who are in the AL Central, baseball's weakest division, as Detroit plays in a division with the White Sox, the Kansas City Royals, Minnesota Twins, and league leaders Cleveland Indians. Now, on the season, the Cubs, as a road favorite of $1.25 to $1.75, like they are today, are a record 16-7, so 9 games over 500 in the betting range that they are today. They are 3 games over 500 on the road this year, which is credible. It is hard to win on the road, and they are above 500. Over the past 3 seasons, the Cubs have a record of 131 and 107 playing away from Wrigley Field. Even losing 3 straight, the Cubs do have a winning record in August, going 10-8. So they have played fairly well in August. Take away those 3 straight games, they were 10-5. Maybe tonight will be the night they get back on track. Since 2015 in August, the Cubs are 49-26, so a team that plays really well in August, 23 games over 500. The Cubs have played very good baseball against American League opponents this year, going 10-6 so far. The Cubs are very happy to see left-handed pitchers, as Francisco Liriano is. They have gone 18-9 this year, guys, so winning 2/3 of their games when facing left-handed pitching. Over the past 3 years, the Cubs are 72-47 when facing left-handed pitchers. That's one of baseball's best records when teams facing left-handed pitchers. Keep that in mind. Now, the Cubs are coming off their 3rd straight loss, as we said, and when they are coming off of a loss the night before, they have a good record of 32-19. So this is a team, a veteran team, that when they lose the day before, they seem to come back and get the job done. Since 2015, the Cubs are 50 games over 500, going a great 120-70 when losing the day before. So, like we just said, veteran team seems to, when they lose the day before, somehow pick it back up. But remember, they've lost 3 games in a row, so maybe they're in a little slump, but this is a team that usually learns to right the ship. The Cubs are 21-17 when facing teams below a 500 mark, and over the past 3 seasons, 126-77 against teams below 500. Now, let's talk about Detroit Tigers pitcher Francisco Liriano. He is 3-8 on the season with a 5 ERA. Again, he's on the Detroit Tigers, who are having a horrible season. League leader, or club leader, Miguel Cabrera has been out the majority of the season with injury. This team is not a good team, not great pitching, and in a rebuilding mode. So you have to remember that. Liriano has pitched terrible at home this season with an ERA of 5.46, only 2-2 record-wise, but high ERA up there. He is coming off of 3 consecutive losses overall. His last appearance, he allowed 8 runs in just an inning and 2/3 of work. In that game, he allowed 2 home runs and he walked 3 batters. He has gone 6 consecutive starts without getting to the 6th inning, guys. So Liriano had some success prior in his career. Maybe he's tailing off, and again, not on a very good team. Now, let's talk about the Detroit Tigers. We did say they play in the American League Central, which is baseball's weakest division so far this year. The Cleveland Indians lead that division by 13 games over the Minnesota Twins. Cleveland has basically wrapped that division up. Detroit comes into today's game 21.5 games behind the Indians. As we said previously, they will not be in the playoffs. They're in a rebuilding mode. The Tigers have played fairly well at home, though, this season at Comerica Park. They do have an above 500 record at 33-30, so they do play well at home. This is Ron Gardenhire, former Minnesota Twins manager, first season as Detroit skipper, and he has different motives with this club. They knew they were not going to contend this year, and he's done fairly well, making these young kids win at home, so let's give it up to Gardy. Detroit is 5 games under 500 during interleague play this season. They have had a miserable month of August, going 6-12. They just played a tough series in Minnesota, losing a bunch of those games. They're 4-9 this year when playing against NL teams, so not doing well when facing the opposite league. They've also played terrible under the lights this season, 23-43 on the season, 20 games below 500. This is not a good baseball team at night. Again, guys, not a great baseball team to start with, so you have to read into what you will in those stats. Some of these stats are a tad misleading. The Tigers are playing 500 baseball when facing a left-hander like they will against John Lester. Detroit is 16-16 on the season against lefties. They are coming off a win last night, a 2-1 win last night against the Cubs, and they are 22-28 when coming off of a win from the day before. The Tigers do have one of the worst records, however, in baseball when playing teams with a winning record. They're 16-35 this year when playing teams over 500. Again, Tigers not very good, so when you're playing winning teams, obviously they're not going to have a great record. So read into that what you will, guys. Since the midway point of the season, Detroit is a dismal 4-15 when playing teams above 500. Now, let's talk about John Lester, pitcher for the Chicago Cubs. Lester will get the start tonight for the Cubs. He's 13-5 in the season with a credible 3.72 ERA. He's had a solid season. His win total is over 10, and his ERA is below 4, which he has done almost every single season of his career. Excuse me. Lester is coming off a 1-0 win over the Pittsburgh Pirates a week ago. He was dominant. It was a game the Cubs really needed to win, and it was the John Lester that we're used to seeing come playoff time. He pitched 6 strong innings, allowing 0 runs and 5 hits. When he faced the Pirates, he has pitched better on the road this season at his home. He has a record of 8-2 on the road with an ERA just over 3. Guys, it's pretty evident who we're taking here. One team is headed towards the playoffs. One team's in a rebuilding mode. We're taking the Chicago Cubs on the money line, minus the $1.75. Now, we're rating this a 3.5 star. So far, guys, on our free plays, this is the highest rated one we've had yet. Again, the Cubs on the money line, minus the 175, a 3.5 star play. So play that as you will, guys. This is one you want to step up on. Make sure you go to our website, markmoneyhoffman.com. Check out our premium selection. Check out the free stuff. But our free play of the day will get you paid. We're 5-1 so far. Going to be 6-1 after tonight. Chicago Cubs on the money line, 3.5 stars. We'll catch you tomorrow.